KILR Killer Game.
Hello gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome back to my tour around the world featuring Microsoft Flight Simulator 3. Not 4. Kind of looks like 4, but it's not. It's 3. So yeah, it's been several months since I last did a video on this. But we're getting back to this. I am recording a lot of videos, so that way I've got a lot of footage in the can that I can get edited and put up on the channel for you guys, because I've been working on other stuff, but I have been monitoring the videos, and there have been people that have been interested in them. So I'm aware of that, and I want to take care of you. I want to get these out there so you've got more videos to watch, because from what I see, nobody else out there is really doing these types of videos. Not the ones that I've been doing, where you're seeing full flights and really getting a feel for what it's like to actually fly these old simulators. I mean, yeah, you can do this yourself if you want to, but you may not have the time or the patience. But you may want to tune in, have it on, and kind of listen and kind of watch a little bit here, while you're working on something else, whether you're working on some school or some other project, and that's great. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you tuned in. If you watch the whole thing, great. If you watch part of it, it's great. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys being here and checking things out. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're doing. Okay, so here is the Chicago area chart. Flights simulator. Well, this is the Flight Simulator 2 reference chart, not 3. But I guarantee you this is all the same. Nothing's really changed other than the graphics themselves. But remember, folks, not to be used for real-world aerial navigation. And boy, how true is that? Because I've been working on some Flight Simulator 2 videos, and if we were to scroll down here a little bit, and we'll be going here, by the way. This is, whoops. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we will be going to this airport, not this time around, but it will be in a few more flights from now. We'll be going here to Bloomington Normal. It's here on the Commodore 64 Flight Simulator 2 by SubLogic. It's here for the Amiga Flight Simulator 2, which is what Flight Simulator 3 is based off of. It's based off of the Amiga version and the Atari ST version. It's a port from that, basically. If you look, and I have the Amiga videos being featured on this channel. So if you look at those and look at the ones from Microsoft, you'll see there's a similarity between the two. There's a big similarity. But yeah, Bloomington Normal, it's not there for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2. To my surprise, we were flying there, got about 7 miles there. It was just nothing, absolutely nothing sitting there until I loaded up scenery disk number 9, and well, then the airport was there. So that was weird. It was not part of the default airport. So that video is not up on the channel, at least not yet as the time that I'm recording this. By the time you're watching this, it might be. So check that out if you're interested. It was a rather entertaining situation. Getting back to this, where are we? We're right here at Chicago Midway. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to be going to... Where is it? Where is it? Joliet Park District. It's not really called the Joliet Park District anymore. I forgot what it is. Maybe Joliet Memorial or something. But we're going there. But to start off with, and we've been doing this on every simulator, is we're going to be doing a touch and go at Merrill C. Meigs. It's kind of like our nod and paying our respects to a great airport. We're going to be doing a touch and go and, you know, waving goodbye, because it's going to be a very long time before we come back to this area. Well, not too long. We are going to circle back, but I at least want to kind of go through Merrill C. Meigs, and I thought it might be kind of neat to do a touch and go with all of these different simulators. Nothing that I did, you know, when I was originally playing these old ones. But once we do the touch and go there, we'll be going straight to Joliet Park. So doing that same exact thing on all the simulators, just so you've got the benefit of just watching and, you know, making the comparison between, you know, each of the simulators. It's not about just comparing the graphics. It's about comparing the experience. And that's what I've been seeking out to do on these videos, is giving you the experience of seeing these simulators in action and being able to compare those with all the other simulators. Not just, well, here's some graphics from Flight Simulator 2, and well, here's some graphics from Flight Simulator 5, you know. You're going to be able to experience this. Think of it like time travel. I don't know. I mean, you're seeing this with this old one, and then you get to experience the same thing with a later one, and a later one, and a later one. And I've done this with X-Plane, with X-Plane 11, and with FSX. Not prepared. I have it now. I have P3D, but I'm working on the very first flight, Meigs to Chicago O'Hare. It's not going to be just a flight. There's actually something very special that I'm working on for the P3D version of the World Tour, which takes time. But it'll be worth it. It'll really be worth it. I think you guys are going to really, really like what that is. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing. So we'll take off from Chicago Midway. I'm going to have Chicago O'Hare tuned in. We'll take the 110 radio, which will take us in this direction. We'll have Chicago Heights tuned in at a 355 radio, which will get us into an intersection right about there. That's just kind of like a general ballpark. And then we'll turn, go south, land, and then quickly get our throttle back up, take off, and off to Joliet Park we will go. We'll tune into Joliet, head in that direction. We'll have the distance measuring equipment on, giving us an idea of how long it's, how far away it is. But keep in mind, this is a little bit further from Joliet Park, so it'll be before that. And, well, just to give us an idea, I mean, we'll be heading to it. I think what we'll do is we'll use the, what's the opposite? The back course of 060, 24, yeah, 240. So we'll be heading on the 240 radio. We'll have DuPage tuned in at the about 165. And when we get to an intersection right about there, that should that should get us to that should be kind of like our cue that we need to turn and line up with the runway. So a lot of little intersections and stuff that we're doing on this. It's kind of old-fashioned navigation. This is what I learned to do on these old simulators. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Alrighty, so what we were saying is that we were going to be taking the Chicago O'Hare radio, which is 113.9. It's already tuned in, so that's good. We'll go ahead and set that for the 110. Can we hold that? Come on. This is annoying. I can't do that. You know, it's weird. On Flight Simulator 2, you can click this and hold it, and it will move. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work on Flight Simulator 3. So, boo. We have to sit there and click. That's annoying. It's like I want to hold on to it. Doesn't work. What did we say? 110? All right. Move back here. And nav 2 is going to be Chicago Heights, which is 114.2. And that was 355. So here we go. Click. Now, I'm not too worried about the direction that this is going, whether it's 354 or 174. All I care about is this needle, and when this centers, and this, well, we'll have this centered, but when this centers, that's pretty much our cue that we need to turn. This is just as a reference. We'll also use a little bit of eyeballing in VFR to go ahead and do that as well. So that's it. We're all set to go here. And let's go ahead and tune in to our ATIS. I'd like to tune these in while we have them because not a whole lot of airports do. And I don't know why it does this in the middle of it. Visibility 10, temperature 68, wind 00, altimeter 20, landing and departing runway 4. Device control initial contact, you have Foxtrot. Okay, so we're all set there. There is an option. Go ahead and put this here. So these menu options are also different. They're similar, but there's extra ones on Flight Simulator 4. But there is an option here for air traffic control communications. And I thought it was the enter key. I thought we just hit the enter key, but that doesn't seem to work. But I do have a copy of Flight Simulator 3, so let me pull out the instructions on that. All right, I have no idea whatsoever. I have a boxed copy of Flight Simulator 3, and I have the manual, which actually this would be a great thing to go through on our flights. I mean, why not, right? But you know, here's the manual. I mean, the box is a little beat up, but I mean, I've got the maps here. They're all sealed. Do you see that? They're all sealed. And I've got this in here, which has got the 5 1/4 and 3 1/2 disc in here. So nothing's missing. Oh, it has the quick reference in there too. And I could not find anything in regards to what to select for that ATC. It acknowledges that it's there, but it doesn't tell. I mean, it tells you how to activate it, you know, turn it on in the menu options, but it doesn't tell you how to contact ATC. So what is it? Is it just there for show or something? I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's been a little too long. I don't know, but I could have sworn I used it on one of these earlier episodes. I'll have to take a look and see. But like I said, it's been a while since I made an episode. But in here, ATC, it's funny because it like explains to you what ATC is, although none of this actually happens. ATC, air traffic control. The ground-based radio network consisting of ground control controls taxiing to and from the active runway. And it's taxiing, so it's one word. That's good to know. Tower controls the runway itself, giving permission to land and take off. Departure controls the airspace immediately surrounding the airfield. Center controls the airspace at higher altitudes. And approach controls those aircraft arriving into the airspace immediately surrounding the airfield. But other than that, it does not tell you how to contact ATC. And we're looking. So, like, here it is. Air traffic control communications. But it does, you see, it doesn't even get you a, so you can click on it and can turn it on and off. Oh, maybe it's comm radio. Hold on. Send message to listen on this frequency. Nope, I don't think this is it. Well, it says send message. Let's send a message. Send? Send? Okay. Doesn't want to send. Number 6. Oh, that's multiplayer. Got it. Say Flight Simulator 3.00. Well, what else was there? Transponder? Transponder off. Ident. To be implemented in future version. It's there, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, you know, so what I think that is that maybe it doesn't work. It's here to be implemented for a for a future version. Here's nav. Nothing. So it's here for spits and giggles, apparently. And that is it. Okay. Great. Nice. All right. I guess we'll make our own ATC. We're taking off. That's all there is to it. All right. Magnetos. Magnetos? Oh, there we go. I gotta turn that down on my volume. Oh, I don't know what's more annoying, that sound or the sound from Flight Simulator 2. What runway were we supposed to take? You guys remember? Let's find out. I think it was 4. Chicago, Midway, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. 4. Yep. It's 4. Where is 4? Which way are we facing? Oh, we're going to find out here. We're facing due east. Try to turn here. Oh my, this thing has drifted off. Our gyro compass is like way off. Let's take a look at the map. Map display. Okay. So I think, okay, this is like the other simulator. This runway right here, that's 4. We're gonna have to come down. We're going in the right direction. You know, it's funny that fuel thing is in the same spot. Not surprising, actually. We'll taxi over here, go straight down, and that should get us where we're going to want to go. Or just go straight here. This is what we did on the other one. We went straight here, over this way, and down, because that's actually a runway right there. At least it's supposed to be one. Go over here and turn that off. Now for our textures, we have dots. I'm not using rectangles, small rectangles or big rectangles, because we're already doing that on Flight Simulator 4. So we want to do something a little different with this one. Scenery coverage is definitely going to be a little different because Flight Simulator 4, we can use what's called the USA, or the SubLogic USA East and West scenery discs. And that gives you the complete United States. The regular scenery discs that have been used for Flight Simulators 2, well, I should say Microsoft Flight Simulator 2, they don't work with 1. You can convert those to scenery files, the SCN files, and use them here. You can use them on 4 too, but why? So the scenery discs that are here are the same ones that are on Flight Simulator 2. But there is not full USA coverage. If you look up Wikipedia, you know, Wikipedia stuff, it'll say, oh yeah, full USA coverage, here they all are. No. Numbers 8 and 10 were not made. So don't let anybody kid you. Alright, whether it's the Commodore 64 or the PC. 8 and 10 were never made. They were never released. I assume that the reason for that is because SubLogic was already, well, one, they were working on a port from the Amiga Atari ST versions over to this. They were still using the SubLogic scenery discs. But then Microsoft was wanting to get them more involved, and so they worked more on this version and came out with Flight Simulator 4, where those functions that we saw in here, you know, to be used at a future date, actually were being used. So Flight Simulator 4 is like a fixed version of Flight Simulator 3. Kind of like how Windows... What was it? Not Windows Me. Vista. Windows Vista. How Windows Vista was kind of bleh, and Windows 7 was like what it should have been. That kind of makes me think of Flight Simulator 2002. It's a good simulator, but it seems like it's not quite all the way there. You know, it's almost as if they were working towards Flight Simulator 2004, but they weren't quite there yet, so they released what they had, and that was 2002. I could be completely wrong, but that's what it seems like. Our runway should be right ahead. No, it's blinking. Don't blink. Don't blink. Okay. So we got to go straight down and then make a left. Okay, well, apparently I can't get that thing closed. I'm going to have to go over here and click this and click this. Okay. And turn my volume down a little bit more. As we taxi our way to the runway. Way to the runway. Way. So, as you can see, if you've been comparing each of the simulators just to kind of see how they were evolving, you can see on this one that we have a moon. I don't think we have moon phases, but we have a moon. And there are some stars up in the sky. Okay, the period is still the brakes. Just checking. It's funny, Flight Simulator 3 really feels like an incomplete simulator. It's like when you look at Flight Simulator 4, you're like, it's got great possibilities with that one. There's a lot that you can do with it to really customize it. When you mess around with it, it is quite an amazing simulator. You want an idea? Take a look at my flights on this channel. I do have a playlist. It is called Flight Simulator 4 Adventures, the SubLogic USA tour. And they're cinematics, so there's no talking on them for me. And they are adventures. That's why I call it Flight Simulator 4 Adventures. They are programmed adventures that I did, which adds in air traffic control and ATC chatter, and it makes use of the transponder, and it really yeah, and I add some buildings to the airports, and I add air traffic, and oh my goodness, it breathes so much life into the simulator. It's absolutely amazing. It takes work. It really takes quite a bit of work to get it together, but the results are amazing. And these are full flights, and during the flights I do these little music segments, and it's music that I had composed using Magic's Music Maker, and I used an old version 3.0 to give it that retro sound to it. And I also used an old 90s style font for all the text and titles. Yeah, we're getting there. So yeah, I hope you'll check that out. 5-3 escape. Something that I'm curious about, and I'll need to test it with this, since the scenery discs, the SubLogic scenery discs, are conversions from Flight Simulator 2, I'm wondering if certain airports are missing. Because when I loaded up the scenery disc, I managed to get them working with Flight Simulator 2. And I was checking things out, and certain airports weren't there. Like, they were there on the SubLogic Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore 64 and the Amiga. But when I check on it with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2, it wasn't there. So one example would be St. Louis. It just wasn't there. It disappeared. Okay, let's get going. My goodness, we're like kind of blowing off course here. It's like, stay on the runway. I think we're up in the air. Yay! There we go. Well, you know, at least the dots, it helps break up the monotony of just like nothing on the ground. Oh, let's... There we go. We gotta reset this here. So we're at a good direction here, it looks like. Our vector's over here. We're on this side of it, so I'm gonna leave our landing gear down. And I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't level off here in between 1,500 and 2,000. Now you can see Meigs right over here. You can see a little bit of blue. Now I've got this running in DOSBox, and the cycles are 48,000 cycles. That might be a little too fast, but it looks like everything is running okay. It runs smooth. The animation is smooth, which is nice. The time seems good. 15, 1,000, 16. Whoops. just reset it. I clicked on it and I reset it. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to turn us this way. Pretty much what we've done on the other simulators is that we flew around these buildings and then came and landed on Meigs. Chicago O'Hare is out that way somewhere. That's Midway. There's Meigs with the blue right over there. And so another thing with Flight Simulator 4 is that with the sound and graphics upgrade, you actually get an engine sound. You've got sound of the flaps going up and the gear going up and down. If you don't have the sound and graphics upgrade, it sounds just like this. And the Flight Simulator 4 World Tour starts off that way. I didn't get the sound and graphics upgrade until after Champagne, when we started using Scenery Disc number 9. I started using it around that time and have been using it since, and having an absolute blast with it. There's Chicago. We're just going to work our way around here. Okay, this is finally moving. So this is moving too. We had mentioned that if they cross, we should probably start our turn. But then again, we're using that SubLogic map, and it's we have to use a little bit of eyeballing as well. We're basically going around this building here, and then we'll be able to land. There it is, right over there. Let's slow down. Let's get our flaps. I can't remember which one was which. Okay, got one thing of flaps. Well, we don't want to hit that, do we? The turning on this seems a little rough. I think we can tell where the land is and where the water's at. It's like I got that turned all the way, and the attitude indicator is just kind of like it's like shaking and stuff. Okay. There's our runway. Get ourselves turned around here. And we'll come in for a landing. We haven't crashed yet on any of the simulators when doing this. So let's not let this one be the one. I have not done this on Flight Simulator 1 yet. That one's kind of a hot mess. Here we go. Looks kind of weird with the dots. Got it. Full power. $80 knots. Rotate. And we are up. Landing gear up. Flaps up. We're off. Yes. As Burdock would say in the A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, let's get ourselves set for Joliet 112.3. 112.3. 36 miles away. And we were going to use the 240 radial. So we'll just kind of click this continuously since we can't hold it. And there we go. Oh, we can turn right now. And I'm going to get us leveled off here at 3,000. Gyro compass has drifted just a bit. Let's use our rudder. Kind of move maybe the 245. Go. That should give us enough to get on course on the 240 radial. Take a look behind us. Nothing there. Take a look over there. There we go. Meigs and downtown Chicago. Not bad. You know, not bad. You got a little bit of mix of white and yellow there. The white dots are the regular texture thing. That's Meigs up ahead. The SubLogic USA East and West adds more little colors and dots and along with other scenery. And it looks just cool, especially at night. Like I said, it takes work. It takes some time to invest in it, but you can really push out some amazing things with it. So yeah, check out my videos and you'll see what I've been doing with it. And hopefully it's an inspiration for you to try the same. Okay, we need DuPage, which is 108.4. And we were going to take not 150, but 155. Maybe 156. And there is Chicago Midway right there below us. So we're all set. We're going to get centered up on 240. By the time this gets centered or somewhere close to it, we should be able to see Joliet Park District off to our left. I also think that this road, or these are actually interstates. I believe that will take us over to Joliet too. So a little bit of VFR flying, along with some IFR flying. There's Chicago right behind us. That's going off the Kankakee, which we will be going to. Anyway, you can't fly on the default Chicago area without going to Kankakee. Come on. That was the Midway. That wasn't was. It is. It's the midpoint between Chicago and Champaign. Stop there, take a break, head on to Champaign, turn around, come back. Until you get to scenery dust and just keep going. Alright, 28.7 miles. Let's go ahead and read what we got here. We can read what's on the back of the box. Things are falling out of the box. Might have to do some taping or something. My goodness, this thing is falling apart. Love a... My! Get in there, stay in there. There we go. Discover new Microsoft Flight Simulator. Its on-screen flight instruction will train you to take an aircraft through rolls, spins, inverted flight, even death-defying hammerhead stalls. Fly in formation and chase your lead plane right between the towers of the World Trade Center. Or set the controls to thunderstorm conditions for the ultimate test of skill and nerve. Now, flight simulation so true to life, you may need a parachute. Yeah. Whether you've logged 1,000 hours or you're just a beginner, Microsoft Flight Simulator has the flexibility and sophistication to give you a great flight every time you take it up. New on-screen instruction helps you learn the basics of flying, aerobatics, navigation, instrument landings, weather conditions, even flying in thunderstorms. Climb into the cockpit of a Cessna 182. Important to know, because on the SubLogic Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore 64, it is a Piper Archer. The Amiga version is a Cessna. Or a Gates business jet to experience flight simulation so challenging that it's gained the respect of licensed pilots. Did it? Well, there really wasn't anything else out at the time. Or try crop duster mode and find out what precision flying is all about. New enhanced support for EGA and VGA graphics monitors gives you superior quality resolution. Get great views of sites like the Statue of Liberty or the Golden Gate Bridge. The new, it's in bold, Microsoft Flight Simulator gives you everything you want in flight and more. Formation flying lets you take a crack at flying with the best. Command Flight Path Display, or CFPD, projects your flight path on the screen for a heads-up view. Heads up, 7 up. Multiple players can fly together when linked by modem. Pull-down menus control navigation, communications, environmental conditions, simulation sensitivity, and flight mode. Cessna Business Jet World War I Ace. Multiple windows let you simultaneously see the view, read a map, and get a look from the tower or the spot plane. Okay, so that airport out there is, I'm going to say that's probably Lewis University. We should see something over to the right also. We should be flying in. No, not necessarily. No, the radio that we're on is going to take us right next to Lewis. That's Lewis. Good. Move ourselves just a tad bit close there. Multiple windows let you simultaneously see the view. Read it. Oh, I already said that. 118 different airports to choose from. Program copies easily to your hard drive. ADF, Automatic Direction Finder. Flight logbook, which I really used. And improved system control. Ask your dealer for a demonstration. And don't forget to fasten your seatbelt. Flight Simulator was designed for Microsoft by Bruce A. Artwick of SubLogic Corporation. Copyright 1987. Microsoft Corporation, all rights reserved. Version 3.0. For Tandy, PC compatible, 256K. For Tandy, IBM personal computers and compatibles. There you go. Flight Simulator 3. Aha! Yep. Over to the right. That is Clow International. We landed there not too long ago. $20 miles, 19. The airports before that, I'd say we're probably about 15 miles away from it. Joliet Park is going to be off to our left, and it's going to be after Lewis University. There was not much you could really do with this. You had the Cessna, you had the jet. As far as flying, I don't pay too much attention to the World War I Ace. Maybe I should. Maybe I should do a video on that. Crop duster. But if you're wanting to do the actual flight simulation, you had the Cessna, you had the jet. That was it. There's no custom content on Flight Simulator 3. It was not opened up to third-party development or user-created content. That happened in Flight Simulator 4. And ever since, they did that. Because Flight Simulator 4 just became an amazing simulator because of the third-party support and user-created content. I mean, people loved it. And, you know, I wonder, I didn't play Flight Simulator 3 or 4. There it is, right over there. That, folks, is Joliet Park District. So, yeah, so I didn't play. My first Microsoft Flight Simulator was 5. That was my first one. Not my first Flight Simulator in general. My first Microsoft version was 5.1 to be specific, on CD-ROM. I went from SubLogic Flight Simulator 2 from the Commodore 64 to Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore Amiga, which was technically Flight Simulator 3, and played that. And then when I saw Flight Simulator 5 for the PC, I'm like, oh, wow, I gotta get that. You know, because you had ground textures. Nowadays, when we look at it, it's just kind of bleh. But, you know, back then, it was just kind of cool looking, you know? You didn't have just plain old color. Now you had some textures on the ground. Pretty demanding of the computers at the time. But since that was my first one, I gotta wonder how many people who were playing Flight Simulator 4, or maybe even 3, how many of them jumped ship and went to Flight Simulator 5 right away? What do you think? What do you guys remember? Did people just jump ship quickly to it? Did they maybe try it and realize that this isn't quite working very well on my system and went back to Flight Simulator 4? I mean, what do you think? I think along the lines of like FS9 and FSX. FS9 is a great simulator. It was very well done. FSX, it's a good simulator too, but at the time, that thing was rough on computers. Still kind of is, especially with memory issues. P3D is definitely an improvement over that. But some people still swear by FS9. It works, it's smooth. Some people just don't want all the bells and whistles, you know? They just want a nice, smooth simulator. And FS9 definitely delivers on that. So we should start seeing this go down. And if we're about, I think it's time to lower our landing gear and start slowing ourselves down here. We're going to be turning to meet that here pretty soon. I don't want to get too low. Come on now. Let's stick around 2,000 feet. Come on there, vertical speed thing. Come on. Stay around 2,000 for me. There goes OBS number 2. It's beginning to move. So we should be able to make our turn here very shortly. Chicago, way back there. Thought that was entertaining. The transponder to be implemented on a future release. Flight Simulator 3 was actually not out very long, based on history things that I've read. What was it, out like for a year or something, or 6 months? 6 months to a year, and then Flight Simulator 4 came out. Man, I bet some of the people who bought Flight Simulator 3 and then saw Flight Simulator 4 were like thinking, dude, man, this was a rip. Can't believe I spent money on this. I could have just waited and got Flight Simulator 4. What's up with that? I hear ya. I hear ya. And so maybe some of you did. Maybe some of you waited and got Flight Simulator 4. And you skipped the whole Flight Simulator 3 thing. But you're just kind of wondering, yeah, you got that little bit of curiosity thinking, well, how was it? How was Flight Simulator 3? Well, and that's what you can find out with this series. You don't have to fly it yourself to find out. Just sit back and relax and we'll do the flying for you. That is Morris Municipal out there. We're not going that way. We're not going out to Morris. We can say hi from here. Okay, so I guess we're supposed to be turning here. Based on my navigation, which looks a little off. Let's take a look at the map. Oh, come on. Alright, never mind. We won't look at the map. We'll wing it. No pun intended. We'll wing it. Let's get ourselves slowed down from 80 knots. That seems like a little too much. Click our next thing of flaps here. Yeah, we'll be able to get this. We'll be able to get this lined up really nicely. I tell you, the dots help a little bit when it comes to depth perception, because as you get closer to the ground, the dots kind of spread out a little bit more. Get one more thing of flaps here. Getting there. Whoop. Might be a little too much there. You know, in Flight Simulator 2, I haven't been using any more than 1 degree of flaps because it brings the speed down to about 60. And if I were to try to land with full flaps, I think I would stall the plane. And Flight Simulator 2 is not very forgiving when it comes to stalls. It's like you stall and this thing nosedives like crazy. Three and 4 are not too bad, but it can still get a little rough. The later simulators are much more forgiving when it comes to stalls. You have more flexibility. A little bit more control. There we go. There's the airport. All lined up. Got our scent. Got to fix our lineup here a little bit. We're kind of pushing off to one side here. Come on! I don't think I have any winds going. So the scenery on this is pretty much the same as the scenery on Flight Simulator 2. Some improvements with some improvements. Landing! Power down. There we go. Come on. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. There we go. Power down. Start braking. Flaps up. And we're stopped. Go ahead and shut this off here. So there we go. We're all we're all landed here at Joliet Park District. So, well, I hope you enjoyed the flight. As far as our touch and go over at Meigs and flying over here to Joliet and kind of reading the back of the box on Flight Simulator 3.0, 3.00. Just a little bit of a time travel trip to the past. Okay, well, thanks a lot for joining me on this flight. Be sure to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so that way you will know when the next video is released. And be sure to check out all the playlists that are on this channel. There's playlists for Flight Simulator 2 and 3 and 4, well, 1 also, all the way up to X-Plane. I have even some prepared videos, and I mean the simulator. Not it's all prepared, like I prepared it. No, prepared P3D. I've got some on here also, so be sure to check those out as well, along with the cinematics. So all kinds of good stuff here on this channel. But thanks, and I will see you on the next leg of our journey.